Good morning.
It's been a while. Oh. Hey, it's been a while.
It has. It's been a hot minute.
I think that our last episode, which viewers probably got, when did they get that? Like a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
Yeah. The funny thing about it is we recorded that episode like right at the start of May. So since we have talked, it has been like 2 months.
Literally.
Almost. Yeah. This is probably the fucking longest we've gone without recording an episode, but definitely not the longest hiatus between episodes, because people will be like, yo, it wasn't that long.
Right. Yeah, I've had, I think Jacob asked me the other day if we were still doing the podcast. I was like, yeah, dude, we're still doing it. Trust me. We're just
multimedia now.
Oh yeah.
Thanks to you, we are now a visual channel too.
Yes.
Might I say, yeah, that video essay fucked, in my opinion. I mean, and this is just coming from someone who's a freeloader, just half of the channel name, but you did all the work on that, and it was a great video. I fucking loved your first shots.
Thank you.
And, yeah,
I really appreciate that. Yeah, I obviously want to do more, and we'll definitely want you to come on and maybe write some or just do some with me. I'm really surprised at how well it's doing. It's got 74 views right now. With
I think that might be a record for our channel.
Yeah, honestly, maybe. Yeah, I got 74 views, 15 likes. I think the only thing to top that, my Chicken Run alternate ending video is on this channel still because it has 11,000 views. But
whoa,
yeah. But episode 1 of our podcast got 84 views. So really, just 10 more views to go, or technically 11. And we will have beaten everything Mind Over Movies related, or the podcast related, I mean, so.
Yeah, and in like, I don't know how to do a fraction when it comes to years, but yeah, the original episode has had like 2 years to outdo your video essay, and for that to do numbers like that, especially on a small channel like this, that's just awesome. That's
dude.
Cool.
I'm really happy with it, and I hope everybody liked it. And I appreciate your compliments about it. Thank you. It was fun.
They're the only compliments you're getting this week, motherfucker.
Yeah, I know. I'm only allowed a few.
Yeah, you have to take L's, here and there.
Yeah, true.
And not to jump right into discussions or anything, but I'll just say that I have taken note, like when you tweet shit and I haven't seen something yet, I just take a mental note. I'm like, okay, come back to this whenever you've seen that thing. Like for season 3 of Barry, you had a take, and I hadn't seen any of it yet, and you were like, this is the worst episode of Barry yet. And I was like, okay, noting that. And then I was not too surprised when I got to that same like date that you posted that episode that would have come out around that time, and I found out that was like my favorite episode of the season. I was like, oh shit.
Oh no. Of course.
It was really good.
We're not
going to talk spoilers.
Right.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Maybe in the middle of this episode we could have a Barry season 3 thing. I know that would probably just be a discussion for us and like one other person, because I don't know too many people who watch Barry other than like Kennedy and you and myself and Donna. I think Saxon watches. So, Saxon?
Yeah.
Tune
Saxon,
in.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I know Saxon watches. I think, I don't know a whole lot of people that watch it, but and we're obviously going to talk about it today, spoiler free. Maybe we'll talk about spoilers, but I also do want to note that when we're recording this, it is the evening before the last episode of Obi-Wan Kenobi comes out. So when this episode releases, Kenobi will have finished. You're not going to hear anything about it on this episode, sadly, but we'll talk about it next time. I have to watch last week's episode still, and then I'll probably watch the episode tonight to finish it off. But we could talk about some of our thoughts so far on it if you want to, because I'm really eager to discuss it, spoiler free, of course.
Yeah. I think with Kenobi especially, I'm excited for it to finish before we discuss it. Not like generally like super excited for like the show to finish out, but like
Right.
I'm definitely glad we didn't get a chance to talk about it right as the first 2 episodes dropped, because it would not have been a conversation I would have looked back on and been like, oh, I stand by everything I said, because I'll give Kenobi credit. It has gone some places with its story that I didn't expect, and it's done some pretty solid stuff. There is a lot of I don't know how to discuss it without getting too spoilery, but this show flirts with breaking like timeline shit all the time and then kind of chickens out of it because it can't, like it pushes the limit for sure, and it does some surprising things, but most of the time I am like, oh yeah, that scene didn't have a lot of stakes because I have seen Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope, and I know who needs to be around for that. So,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm also glad we didn't get to talk about it when those first 2 episodes at least were out, because I'm kind of like you. A lot of it has been watching while I've watched it. My perspective on it has shifted a little bit, and I like what you said about it flirts with breaking timeline, because that's like one of my main complaints with it, is because it's like, well, man, I mean we've all seen Episode 4, so it's like, what the fuck.
Yeah, and I think last week's episode, I'm not gonna spoil anything, but like it addresses shit that has happened in the show so far that might have had people raising some eyebrows. It doesn't do it in like a super obnoxious way. Well, actually, it does kind of do. I'm like I kind of respect it, but I'm also like, okay, that's dumb, which is like the whole show. I think it's got this classic Disney Plus conundrum of being too long for its own good, and also because it's a television show, like all the spectacle of it kind of dies down a little bit. Like these shows kind of look like shit compared to the movies that are coming out, and they're doing this with stories that I feel like would have been perfectly fine 2-hour movies that you could have upped the budget for the story you're telling, and it would have been more effective. Moon Knight, I felt that way about. There was only half a story there. And did you finish Moon Knight?
I haven't finished Moon Knight, and I'll tell you why. I really don't want to watch it.
You know what? Don't. Nothing fucking happened. I'll tell you, spoiler free for Moon Knight, I promise, but nothing happens in that goddamn show until the post-credit scene, and then something interesting happens, and then it's over.
Yeah.
It's so dumb.
Yeah, I watched Mauricio Brown Table had a video out on it, and I watched that, and it was really interesting because I kind of got some of it spoiled for me, but I didn't care. I don't care. I mean, obviously I don't want to spoil it for anybody else listening if you haven't seen it, but I didn't care to get it spoiled for me, so I watched Mauricio's video, and he talks about like how they kind of like the MCU right now in Phase 4 has a problem with building shit up for the sake of building it up and not satisfying just the show itself, like just having a show have its like run, like Moon Knight felt like a prequel, like a prologue. That's what I'm trying to say. He said like the whole show felt like a fucking prologue, and there's nothing really happening in it until, like you said, that post-credit scene is pretty interesting. But like it's like, why can't you just tell the story you want to tell now instead of having to set it up and make everybody wait for 4 years?
Yeah, it's really, it just makes it hard to be invested in the TV shows coming out for sure, and it kind of makes it hard to be invested in the MCU as a whole, because if you're going to be so interconnected and constantly like building and building and building, like have shit happen, like actually build up to something, have some payoff. You can't just keep releasing like movies, like whole ass completed films where nothing like very relevant. Well, and I'll say in the movies they've been better about it. you know, I can't think of like a fillery Marvel movie right off the top of my head other than like Black Widow. Like that felt like it didn't really contribute a bunch. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
It was one I enjoyed when we saw it in the theaters, but like
Right.
as time has passed, I've been like, oh, we didn't need that, and it set up like one thing that is relevant to the modern MCU and nothing else. Like,
yeah, it was really there to just give ScarJo her due credit, her own movie, and I mean that's kind of like the whole reason for Hawkeye too, because Jeremy Renner didn't get his own movie, and Hawkeye quickly became like a fan favorite, so to speak, of like the team, and I guess all the fan cams got to Disney Studios' heads. They're like, oh, shit, we need a whole series for this, and Hawkeye has probably been the most like underwhelming. Well, besides Moon Knight, I really can't tell you how much I don't give a fuck about anything happening in Moon Knight. But Hawkeye is one of those where it's like, okay, you've got my attention with Jeremy Renner as Hawkeye in it. I want to see where his story goes after Endgame. But this is just like utterly useless and meaningless. That show is to set up shit. And I just wish they would stop setting up shit. And I've heard that Miss Marvel is a good show, but it has like the worst like viewership of all the TV shows, and that makes me a little upset because everybody's going to think it's because of the politics of the character. That's the first. Is it the first Muslim superhero character? Is that what it is?
Yeah, it is. And I think that Miss Marvel is also the first like teenage, or one of the first teenage superheroes to hit the small screen for Marvel. Yeah. There's just a lot of firsts happening with Miss Marvel, and I feel what you're saying. Like, I saw a tweet earlier today about the low viewership, and the guy was like, you know, it just goes to show that white people won't support these shows when they come out. And I feel like there's a little bit of truth there. Like, sure, you know, there are probably less white audiences tuning in to, in fact, the statistics show that there are less white audiences and more Hispanic and Black families and Muslim families tuning in to Miss Marvel, which is interesting because, you know, it's reaching the groups that it's representing, and I think that's cool. But I think that to entirely blame it on you know, politics would be misguided, because I think it is just speaking to superhero fatigue and Marvel fatigue in general. Like, the reason I didn't watch it is like Moon Knight, and also because there are so many other shows that are out right now that are like the biggest shows on television right now. Like,
exactly,
Stranger Things is out, The Boys is out, Better Call Saul is out.
Oh my god, yes, dude.
They released it at a horrible window to compete with established properties. Like, they should have waited till August or something, you know?
Yeah,
like,
dude.
At least let Boys season 3 like clear up before you drop this. And
I mean, can I say though, like, I want to.
Kenobi, their own show. Sorry.
Right. Like, I will say though, like, I want to get into. I've been watching a lot of TV. I haven't watched many movies. I've been watching TV because, as you said, there is so much good fucking television out right now. But I just wrapped Stranger Things season 4, volume 1 today, and can I just say, like, I mean, TV's really bringing out the big guns this year. Like, I was not invested in Stranger Things at all going into this season. I felt the most disconnected from it that I ever have, and this season is like as good, maybe even better than the first. Like, it is fucking phenomenal.
I want to say, like, I ended up catching up on Stranger Things when I had COVID, and I felt the exact same way as you. Like, I heard all the headlines about it being, like, an hour and 20 minutes every single episode, and I was like, that sounds fucking obnoxious. But, having just finished Volume 1 during my quarantine, I agree with you. I think it might be my favorite season, even without seeing Volume 2 yet. Like, I think they are completely fucking nailing the tribute to the 80s horror movies and to the adventure flicks. And, like, there will be moments where they play, like, soundtracks from, like, older movies. Like, they have a War Games reference in one of the episodes, and then the score for that movie, like, I think it's Alan Silvestri's score, starts playing, and it's amazing. It just fits right in with these characters in these settings. And I didn't realize that I loved this show as much as I did, and I think maybe 2 and 3 just weren't that good compared to 1, but I think we're back at it. I think we found our magic again.
I agree, and I hope that Volume 2 really comes in and hits the home run, and I hope that Season 5 is just as good as Season 4 because I don't know if Sean Levy directed episodes from Seasons 2 or 3, but let me tell you, that man knows how to fucking direct. There is some sequences in this season that are just absolutely glorious. The editing,
Free Guy levels.
Free Guy levels. Oh shit!
Adam Project level of hype.
Oh my god. Well, I mean, if you look at Free Guy and you look at this, like, it's very obvious that dude was collecting a paycheck for Free Guy and was actually interested in Stranger Things because. I mean, I want to do a video essay on it. So if anybody would like to hear what we have to say about, Stranger Things, I would really like to talk about the editing in this thing and how motifs are used throughout this season really fucking well. It's so good. If y'all haven't caught up, if you are annoyed, if you are bored with Stranger Things, I implore you to just give the first episode a try. It's brilliant. It's better than seasons 2 and 3. Like Isaac said, this might be my favorite episode, or my favorite season of the whole thing. It's good.
And I agree with you. You just need episode 1 because I was re-hooked after that first episode. It felt like its own film and that it was like a great film. And then I was so surprised to see that as the season went on, it kept getting better and better. I think there was maybe one episode where it was like, it dragged, and honestly, it was the episode that was the shortest one. It was like the one in there that's just an hour long, and then all of the hour 20-minute ones were like my favorite ones.
Same, yeah. I realized getting to the end of the season, or getting into the volume 1, I'm understanding now why the episodes are as long as they are, and I'm gonna be honest, I don't fucking mind at all because to tell this story, I mean, this is like a very in terms of scope, this season is huge. It's bigger than every season they've ever had, but the story is so fucking good that I'm like, yeah, I'll sit down and watch 2.5 hour episodes. Like, that's fine. Like, this, it's so enthralling right now, and I really hope that the season 5 is gonna really just tie it and wrap it up in a nice little bow, and then all we'll have is like, if ever we rewatch it, it's like season 3 is like, okay, it's like, yeah, we'll watch season 3. It's kind of like a prologue to like the best season of the show, but I hope that it ends good like that, so that when we rewatch it, we the last taste in our mouth is of fondness for the show and not that really didn't do that well, but.
Yeah, and it might, those previous seasons might be boosted by having the context of where the show has ended up. Because I will say, as lackluster as some plot points of season 3 might have felt at the time, which I actually feel like I enjoyed season 3 more than the average person when it came out. It was really only 2 that lost me, but where everything 3 set up, it's just like brilliant here. But I'm finding that we probably just need to do a whole episode about this season after volume 2 drops. So we'll save spoilers and shit for then. But please watch this show, and if you haven't caught up on Stranger Things, this is a perfect time too, because it's really good right now. Speaking of things that are on and are hot, are you caught up with The Boys?
I am caught up with The Boys. Are you?
Yeah. How are you feeling about it?
I'm loving this season. I think it's an interesting season for sure. I'm not sure. Yeah. I'm not sure where we're headed, but I am enjoying the fuck out of the kind of like the twist we've had in this season. It's really good.
Yeah. I think that this season is definitely more like sure-footed than season 2, especially when it comes to the character of Homelander. Like, I feel like they have hit their groove again with him. He's got more of that season 1 villainous confidence, whereas season 2 it was kind of confusing sometimes as to what was happening in the grand scheme of things, and like who you should be fearing and who you should be rooting for sometimes. I will still say that the boys themselves, that the show is named for, are often still the least compelling part of it for me. Like, I'm finding that Butcher is just wearing thin on me. I don't know how you feel about Butcher as a character, so I don't want to speak for both of us here.
Right. Yeah, I feel what you're saying. Butcher is kind of he's. I feel like they don't know where to go with his character because I feel like in season 1 he was really. I really enjoyed Butcher, but seasons 2 and 3, especially this season, maybe not as much as 2, but he's kind of like a one-trick pony. And he doesn't have to be. They could write him differently. They could give him something to do. But in this season, I feel like it almost feels like they're setting him up to like kill that character off. Like I feel there's just nothing more he can do. Like he's there, but he's just like the least interesting out of all of them. I'm more interested to see like the Homelander stuff and the Starlight stuff because season 2 kind of left me. The end of season 2, I was like, man, I'm not afraid of Homelander anymore. But since season 3 started, I have been on the edge of my seat. Like every episode, I'm like, what the fuck is he gonna do? Like, what is he gonna do this time? And I don't feel like I feel that way with Butcher. I feel like, in season 1 and even some of season 2, I was like, oh shit, what's Butcher gonna do? He's not, he's himself. He's kind of like an unpredictable character, the same as Homelander is. But, in this season, I'm not really feeling that. I'm like, okay, Butcher's here, but Homelander's who I'm really watching for right now. But not to say that this season, that the other characters aren't written really well. I'm really enjoying pretty much everybody else. I just wish they would give Butcher a boost because the season's really good so far, I think.
Yeah. I'm especially feeling like the satire is really sharp this year.
Yes.
Like it is very pointed who we are making fun of and who we are having a joke at their expense, which is great because I'm so fucking disillusioned with everything that the show's talking about. So every time they get into something, I'm like, yes, thank you. And the grossness and the crudeness of it, I think it's honest. Like so many shows try and make political statements, but they like sugarcoat everything that they're saying that you kind of can't see the message underneath it. And I love that The Boys is just a loud and clear middle finger to the people that they're giving that they're making fun of.
Yeah, I agree. I love all the satire this season. It's been great. I think it's even more heightened in this season than it has in previous seasons for good reason. But it's just like, every episode is kind of like there's something else that they want to say, and they do it really well. It's both funny and it makes sense for the show, and it's really good. I'm enjoying it as well.
Yeah. Let me think. Is there like another show that's on right now other than the one that we're gonna have a spoilers talk about here in a little bit? Because I feel like we're just getting so much good TV that I can hardly keep up.
Yeah, same. Well, I mean, if you wanted to go any more into Kenobi before we get into Barry.
Oh, you know what? Fuck TV. Let's talk about movies before we get into Barry.
You know what? Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Have you seen any? So you said you didn't see very many, but
not very many, but there's a couple that I would like to discuss.
Yeah. What'd you see, man?
Well, one of them I saw before we recorded the last episode, but I don't think I mentioned it. But I want to mention it because I thought it was a very good movie. I really enjoyed it. Have you heard Tangerine? A Sean Baker film?
Yeah. The one right before Florida Project, right?
Yes. Tangerine. It's about like these. It's in what is it say? It's L.A. Sorry, it's in Los Angeles on Christmas Eve. And it's about these two girls that like they're trans women, and they are looking for one of their a boyfriend or like a pimp essentially, and the whole film is just them running around town looking for this pimp to so she can question him on why he cheated on her while she was in jail. And it's fucking hilarious. It's filmed on a very low budget, and it looks low budget, but they make the low budget aesthetic of it fit into the aesthetic of this story that they're telling, and it's really, really well done. It's like a side of LA that you don't really want to see. Like when you're in LA, you're not really hanging around like these parts of town, and it's really fucking good, really funny. I really enjoyed the acting, the characters, the direction. I feel like I need to watch all of Sean Baker's films because after seeing this, I feel like he might be, end up being one of my top directors because just the way he did this whole thing was really interesting. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, is Red Rocket on VOD yet? Like,
I think
when
it
do we
is,
get to
yeah.
fucking see that movie? Okay,
Literally.
I need to rent it, please.
I know. I'll check for you real quick.
Aw, thanks, babe.
You're welcome, babe. Did you have a film
and
that
you're
you wanted
welcome,
to?
babes. Oh yes, I saw like so many movies, so I won't get into all of them. But probably the biggest one that would hit with the audiences of June 2022 would be Top Gun Maverick. I saw
Heck
that.
yeah.
And that's been getting a lot of stellar reviews, which I would have never seen fucking coming. When I saw
Same.
the trailers for Top Gun Maverick, and also just it kept getting delayed and delayed, I was like, this is a fake movie. We are not actually making a Top Gun sequel, and this is a joke.
Right.
So I was very surprised when a lot of people I respect on like Film Twitter and Letterboxd were giving this like 4.5 stars, giving it a lot of love. So I mean, I was like, fuck it. I've never finished the first Top Gun movie because every time I watch it, I get too bored and I turn it off, which, I mean, sue me, but it fucking sucks. I hate that movie.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like it.
Yeah, but I was like, okay, I'm going to go into this movie and forget about my feelings for the first one and just kind of like, get into it. And I will say, as a sequel to Top Gun and as a legacy sequel, this movie sets out to do everything it needs to, and I think it succeeds on so many fronts. Like, I think that the characters are a lot better in this movie. The stakes feel real. The dogfights are like fucking amazingly shot. Like, it's wonderful. I just am too much of a hippie, I guess, to enjoy a movie about why the American military needs a lot more money and to sacrifice the lives of young men and women to do basically pointless shit. Like, the stakes of this movie are established pretty early on, so I don't feel like it's a spoiler to say that the target in this movie is like a uranium facility for an unnamed country. And just like, I couldn't fully get into this movie because, one, all of the characters are written so uptight because they're in the military that like none of the humor like lands for me. It felt like it was a bunch of fucking aliens like talking to each other, which I know that might seem harsh, and I know that there are some charming moments in the movie. It's just like, for the most part, when they would pause for laughs, which they did multiple times, it was just silence. I was like, damn, okay,
right.
So, like, the main thing, though, is, like, this is just such a... And I know it feels silly because it's a movie, and I'm like, turn off my brain, right? But, like,
right.
the fact that this movie is implicating that the United States, which spends much more money on its military by wide margins than any other country, is, like, at risk of some, like, of being outgunned in a situation, or like, we need to like go in. I don't know. This is all gonna sound like nitpick bullshit to people, but it's a part of my brain I couldn't turn off. And like, when I left the movie, I talked to Jacob, who I saw it with, and he said he felt kind of the same way, where like, the movie is excellent. Like, it's excellently crafted. It's all of the actors do a pretty good job with the material they're given. It's just like, there's a part of us that's like, we're so disillusioned with this shit though that it was hard to like feel like they were in the right for everything they were saying. I don't know, like, if you see the movie, you might know what I'm talking about.
Right.
But I mean, I would recommend it as like an action blockbuster for sure. I would just say, turn off your brain as much as you can, especially if you're thinking of it from like an ethical standpoint, which don't do it.
Right. Yeah, I was surprised when I saw your Letterboxd review of it, when you said that, because I never thought about that. I was like, yeah, I mean, it kind of is just like a promotion for the military, for the Navy and the Air Force and stuff, and it's like, I never thought, like, of course it's going to be that, and a lot of people that I follow on Twitter are like, yeah, so what? The movie still fucks, and I'm like, okay. The movie can still fuck, and you can still be like, why the fuck are we making this in 2022? Like, a lot of people have said it's about Tom Cruise, about aging, Tom Cruise. Yeah, kind of. But, like, at the end of the day, it's a fucking Top Gun sequel. It's the movie your father and your grandfather and probably your grandfather's grandfather has fucking seen. Like, it's so closely tied with nationalism and just like having pride for, our boys in the, I almost said boys in blue, but like our boys in the sky, our eyes in the sky, watching over the United States. It's like, don't fucking act like if we ran into a problem a little too big that we would just drop a fucking nuke on somebody. It's not. That's why I've never wanted to watch Top Gun. It just doesn't seem interesting. I'm not fucking interested in it. And honest to God, I'll probably. Well, I mean, I've probably already missed the theatrical window. It's probably still out, but I don't have a want to go see it. I'll probably, whenever it comes to streaming or VOD, I'll probably rent it and watch it because I am interested to see Tom Cruise. That's really all it is. I'll watch Tom Cruise any day. But I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm excited for this movie, even after all the praise I've seen from it. I'm interested, but I feel like I'll probably share your and Jacob's same sentiment.
Yeah, it's propaganda. It's good propaganda, but
right.
I don't think you can escape the fact that it is propaganda. I mean, like if you look up the original Top Gun, one of the things you'll see about it is that it boosted recruitment for like naval aviators by literally 500%. That movie alone, and I cringe thinking about the effect that it might have on the kind of people who want to join the military these days, because I don't know. It's just like knowing a lot of statistics about like extremism in the military and also just the horrible shit that we've done, like to see a movie that is just so uncritical of the military and just like is a 2-hour pretty much like jizz fest for it's entertaining, but like from a thought perspective and from a I want to rewatch this perspective, there's nothing for me, because Top Gun isn't even like a movie about the military's like active programs. It's a training program. And so when these young men and women are like at threat of dying, it's not even for like a real cause. Like it's in a simulated program. Like that's the original Top Gun too. Like that's what took me out of it, is like his best friend dies in that movie. Sorry, spoilers for Top Gun from 1984. His best friend dies in that movie in a training exercise. He dies for nothing. And in this movie, his son wants to join that same program, and the movie is all for us rooting for that. And I'm just horrified. I'm sitting here like, this is the worst thing that could happen to this guy. Like, Tom Cruise had logical sense to be opposed to this guy coming into this program. I don't know. I'm getting into spoilers, but anyone who watches that, talk to me, DM me, tell me your thoughts. What else did you see? Also, is Red Rocket on VOD? You said.
Oh yes, it's on. You can rent it on Amazon right now.
Yes. Okay. Perfect. Yeah. Perfect.
Yes. The other film I watched was a film that I've seen before, but I wanted to talk about briefly because it might become a 5-star film for me. And I talked a little about it in the video essay that I did, First Shots, and that is Chinatown. I rewatched this thing, and let me tell you, I mean, holy fucking shit. I think this is just like the movie. When we talk about like old movies and movies from the 70s and sort of like a golden age, this movie may be a little late to the golden age, but holy fucking shit, bro. This thing is like nearly flawless. Like I'm not entirely sure what's holding me back from giving it that perfect score, because I find myself already wanting to rewatch it. Like, I sat down about a month ago to rewatch it, and I got halfway through it, and then like I had company or something, so something happened and I quit watching it, but I couldn't stop thinking about it, and I'm like, I want to watch it again. So just like a few weeks ago, I sat back down and I watched it again, and just today, or yesterday actually, I was like, damn, I want to watch Chinatown again. And this is the same way I felt about There Will Be Blood, where I rewatched There Will Be Blood, and then I was like, I'm going to watch that again. And then I watched it again. I was like, this is perfect. And then a few days later, I watched it again. Like, this might be, you know, that movie for me right now. And I think I'm reading a book right now called The Big Goodbye about the subtitle is The Death of Hollywood and the Making of Chinatown or something like that. And I'm learning a lot about, like, you know, Roman Polanski, of course, and Jack Nicholson and Robert Towne. And, you know, Robert, I saw somebody on Letterboxd was like, this scumbag can really direct a fucking movie, can't he? And I was like, I mean, yeah, dude, like I you know, you have to respect like what this movie is, but while remembering, you know, who he is. And I think that's probably what interests me about it so much, is because this came out in 1974, about 5 years after Sharon Tate was murdered. And I'm feeling like, if I'm going to give it another watch, of course, but I'm feeling like the themes in this movie are kind of self-reflective of Polanski. And Polanski changed Towne's script, not a huge bit, but, you know, quite a bit on some things. Like, Robert Towne's ending and Polanski's ending were two different things. Polanski opted for the darker ending, and Towne later said that he was right to do that. So I think there's kind of that creative friction within the film, which is mind-blowing to me, because when you watch it, you're like, this is a vision. This is so well put together. This is everybody working together to do their best to do this movie justice. And it comes out, and it's a fucking masterpiece. And I'm just really interested by it right now. I'm fascinated, and I'm going to finish the book probably first, and then I'm going to rewatch it. But I just want to say, if you haven't seen Chinatown, or if you haven't seen it in a while, I mean, watch the First Shots video I did, and then rewatch Chinatown, or watch Chinatown and then watch my First Shots. It's good. It's good. It's really good.
Yeah, I think I'm due for a rewatch for sure on Chinatown, but just like it's one of those movies where its brutality is just absolutely impossible to forget. Like the ending, dude. You know, people quote that ending all the time, but like they kind of forget that the context is awful. Like,
it's
at
so
that moment,
awful.
It's like a gunshot, that line. It's like, fuck that, man.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. Yeah, it's genius. And like people say it all the time, and it's like referenced in like some of those, like I think The Simpsons has done a parody of it, and maybe Family Guy or something. But it's like, do you even know what you're parodying right now? Have you seen the fucking, like, that is such a gut punch of a line, and it's amazing. But it's like, holy shit, bro, masterpiece.
Isn't it kind of like making it like cyclical, like not getting into spoilers for Chinatown, but don't they address in the movie that he has like history in Chinatown that's like, you know, and I just think that adds to it. It's like, oh fuck, for him especially, for it all to happen here, it's like, damn, like that's the perfect name for the movie, because when you're watching it, you're like, this movie isn't about fucking Chinatown, and then it gets there, and it's like, oh,
you're like, oh, it was about Chinatown the whole time.
Damn, maybe the Chinatown was the friends we made along the way.
True. Yeah, dude. It's that line has like, you can analyze that line like 15 different ways. It's incredible. And just the whole script, like, it's good. I won't say too much more. I don't want to spoil anything, but like, like if you haven't seen Chinatown, do yourself a favor. It's great.
Yeah, for real. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I've known. Oh, have you seen Triple R yet?
Dude, no. I want to so bad.
That's really great. I won't say anything, because that's one of those movies where like every single scene in it, as you're watching it, I guarantee you cannot predict where it's going unless you've already heard about it, like from an interview or like YouTube. Because I had a few things spoiled for me, but like it intrigued me enough to watch the whole 3-hour movie, and I'm so happy I did. It's amazing. It puts American blockbusters to shame for sure. Like, and this was my first Bollywood feature too, so like.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah. Yeah, in my film history class, we watched like 3 or 4 Bollywood films, or maybe it was 3, but we watched a lot of scenes from other Bollywood movies, and I just seeing the trailer for it and seeing people talk about it, I was like, oh yes, a Bollywood film that's going to get a lot of attention. People are going to wonder what the fuck. I'm here to tell you, they're all like that. They're all 3 hours long musicals, just filled to the brim with crazy fucking shit. I love Bollywood, and if you have the chance, you should watch Amar Akbar Anthony. It's a Bollywood film from the 70s. It's a fun ass time. I saved music from it on my Spotify, and it's so good. Yeah, 1977, Amar Akbar Anthony. It is amazing. If you liked RRR, I would highly recommend giving this one a watch as well. It's a classic in terms of Bollywood.
Yeah,
hell yeah, dude! I'm excited to watch Triple R.
Huh? Yeah, for sure. And you should, because I don't know. I think that, with it being on Netflix, like, you don't have a good excuse, really. You got to be.
Yeah, honestly. Honestly. Fuck it. Yeah.
Play that shit.
Let's go.
And I'm trying to think before we talk Barry if there's anything else. I saw Men. I didn't really fuck with Men. It feels like a weird misstep for Alex Garland, which is sad because he's just been so brilliant. As of late. So and it's like, not that this movie isn't really well made, like all of the performances are in it are great, and the cinematography is great, and the score is great. It's just the substance of the story is so shallow. Like, it has a lot of deep, complex metaphors, and like, there's a lot of things in the movie that you shouldn't take as they're literally happening, but like, it doesn't really say anything about what it's going after, and it just feels like, it feels like Alex Garland is a "where's my hug" kind of guy after watching it, like, I don't know how to describe it other than that. It was just disappointing, and I wouldn't recommend watching it. And it's also just kind of grotesque for the sake of being grotesque, I felt like. Even though there were some metaphors in that. But
Right. Well, that's upsetting because Ex Machina and Annihilation are brilliant films. I love both of them, and they seem like they have a lot of nuance and a lot of things going on that's not in your face, and they're just done well. But everything I'm hearing about Men is it feels like a directorial debut from a guy who's like, not all men,
Yeah.
So that's upsetting. I probably will not watch it unless I'm get too intrigued, but
and then watch Fallen Angels by Wong Kar-wai. Because that's a great fucking movie. There are so many more that I watched, but if they're important, we'll bring them up later. So,
okay,
you want to talk some Barry?
Let's talk some Barry. Can we? You want to do spoiler free first?
Yeah, really quick.
Okay,
for anyone
cool.
who might not be fully caught up on season 3, did you fuck with this season compared to last season's? How did you feel?
So, I'm a little bit of a mixed bag, but I want to start out by saying by the end, I'm very positive about this season. I think the season was good. Yeah. I just feel like it was bumpier than the past 2 seasons. Like, the past 2 seasons for me have felt very tight, very logically and well constructed, and every episode that I watched, I was like, damn, that was good. Damn, that was good. Damn, that was great. That was great. That was great. And with this season, I was like, okay, that was good. And I was like, that was a little weird. Okay, this was great. But it ended really fucking fantastic. I really loved the finale. It's absolutely fucking crazy. Yeah, just like, general, I'm positive it was a good season. I really liked it. Just way rockier than the past 2 seasons.
So I disagree.
Okay. Of course.
Yeah, of course. I really loved this season. I definitely do think there were some rocky points in there. But I don't know. I felt like it was at season 2's level of quality, which I really fucking love season 2. So that's saying a lot.
Season 2 is great.
I honestly think, having done my big rewatch of Barry with my girlfriend and waiting to watch this season 1 was probably the roughest for me because I hate to say it, but the first few episodes of the show don't really. I mean, they're good. Don't get me wrong. Like none of Barry, in my opinion, has been like bad. This is one of those rare shows like Breaking Bad where I think even if there's an episode you don't fuck with too much, like it still, moves the plot along in a way that it services the show.
I agree.
I think the only weak point in season 3 for me was the episode called Ben Mendelsohn. I just felt like even, usually the episode names are kind of crafty references to something that happens in the episode. And that one just felt very arbitrary. It was like, someone said it at one point. Someone said Ben Mendelsohn's name. So that's now the name of the episode. And it's like,
right.
Yeah, I guess you could name it that. I think that was the only weak point for me. No spoilers, though. And I would just say that Bill Hader is a god. I can't wait for Barry season 4, which is going to be all episodes directed by him. And I literally have no idea what the show is even going to be about, which is crazy.
I know. It's insane, bro.
Yeah.
I'm so interested.
You want to get specific?
Let's get specific. Let's get into spoilers real quick.
Okay. If you don't want Barry season 3 spoilers, or you have not had the chance to watch Barry, the hit HBO show, please, I would encourage you to do so before listening to this, because
I am demanding you to.
It is the ultimate jaw-dropper show, I feel like. So go in as blind as you can. Do not listen to this episode if you have never seen Barry. This part of the episode. Anyway, 3, 2, 1.
Skip to 1 hour, 17 minutes, and 21 seconds if you don't want Barry spoilers. 1.
There's no fucking forgiving Jeff. Let's just get that out of the way.
Let's get that, yeah.
I love how the theme of this season is just so very tightly presented in that first scene of this year with the guy and his affair, Jeff, the guy who's been fucking his wife, and Barry's like, there's no forgiving Jeff. And then the whole rest of the season being about second chances, being about people who have been hurt by your past actions. Can people change? Like, I thought from a writing perspective anyway, and from a theme perspective, that this was the most consistent and tight season of Barry yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally.
You disagree.
Well, I mean, tonally it is, until we get to the episode that I think is the worst. How do we want to structure this? Because I will. Okay, well, let's just start at the beginning. How do you feel about the Kusanov stuff at the beginning, where he finds out and Barry's like, then fucking earn it, and Barry spends like essentially the first 3 episodes of the season kind of like,
holding Henry Winkler hostage.
Yeah. I really liked that.
I really fucked with it. I like how Barry is a show that doesn't dangle plot threads over its audience's head, and like, it. I mean, there are a lot of shows that I respect, like Breaking Bad, which is like the ultimate show, obviously, where they keep plot threads going through seasons and seasons without like resolution until finally, that powder keg happens. But I've always admired that Barry is so quick paced and on to the next thing. Like the fact that we waited 3 years for, to see what Mr. Cousineau is going to do about that information he received. Barry Berkman did this. And then it's out in the open, and Barry's gained the upper hand by the end of the first episode. I think that's brilliant. I thought it was really well executed too. Like the fact that this show always walks that line between being a comedy and being like a fucking horror thriller.
Yeah.
I love it. And I love that Barry is, as always, our kind of semi-protagonist, but also our antagonist. Like, I can never make up my mind whether I want him to fucking die or get away and go on to the next thing.
Right. Yeah. It's they really keep that I feel like with his character, they really keep you, especially in season 3. I keep wondering whether I feel like Barry is a person that I would want to forgive. Like his character in the show, it's like it's like, Jesus, does he have, is he redeemable, essentially? I feel like the show's asking that question a lot this season, and it does it very well with how they've structured the plot in this season.
And I love how it addresses that, like, that answer is going to depend on the person that the show is asking. You know, without getting too far ahead in our discussion, I mean, by the end, you know, the key figures who hold control over whether Barry will live or die ultimately do decide, like, yeah, you know, I can't bring myself to do this to you, or, you know, I see good in you still. I think that one of the ultimate surprises of the season that paid off really well was having his Afghanistan buddy Albert come back at the start of that one episode. That was just such a... Kennedy and I were going fucking crazy. We were like, why does this guy look so familiar? And like, why do we feel like we should know him? And when it clicked finally, it was like, oh my God, this is huge.
Yeah.
And, you know, I feel like some people will look at the finale and where that character went and say anticlimax, but I loved how they handled that, and also just
my God, yeah,
performance from Bill Hader was so raw. Like, give him his Emmy already, please.
Literally, give
every
person in this show deserves an Emmy. Like, I mean, yeah, I don't want to jump too far ahead either, but that specific scene where he's back at the location that he was,
burial,
yes, and the fact that he is like, I'm like, oh my God, I'm like, he's going to kill him, and when he doesn't, just that like horrible shriek that comes from Bill Hader, and he's just like screaming. It was just like, it was so good, because I was thinking the same thing. I was like, this is going to be anticlimactic. When he just like stopped, I was like, why is, you know, I was having all these questions. And then by the end of the scene, and honestly, by the end of the episode, after I thought about it, I was like, holy shit, that entire plot thread was handled so fucking well. I love the conclusion that came to. And I just, the fact that they brought him in as a character, you know, we got that flashback in season 2, I think it was, of what he did over in Afghanistan, and to bring him in, I was like, bro, what a fucking choice.
Yeah, and it didn't take too long for Barry to squander that fucking second chance. I love that that's the theme through all the storylines, is all of these characters being given a chance to get out of it, you know, to have everything that they've said they want, and turning it down, fucking it up. Literally everyone. NoHo Hank, Mr. Cousineau, fucking Barry, fucking Sally. Like, everyone makes that mistake, but you understand why at this point, and it's compelling television. Oh, and even Fuchs. Fuchs gets 2 second chances. And he fucks them both up.
Yeah, okay, well, since you mentioned it, can we talk
about
I want to talk about Fuchs, because this kind of ties into my main frustration with the season. So I might as well get it all out there now, if you're okay with that.
Yes. In fact, I feel like I'll have some similar thoughts, maybe not to the same degree as you, but let's see.
Okay. Yeah, okay, so I'll say by the end of episode 3, I think it's episode 2 or 3, I like, you know, Fuchs he's hiding out, and he's living in this place. I forget where he is.
In heaven.
Chechnya in heaven, yeah. And at the end of the episode, she tells him the story about the jaguars that come, and he was like, where'd you hear that story from? The episode kind of ends with his brain, you know, the gears in his brain turning, like, I can build an army. And I was all for this. I'm like, holy fuck, yes, this is how he's going to get Barry. He's going to build his army. And through the next couple of episodes, he's building it, but I don't like how they squandered this plot thread, because they have the writers of Barry say, and you'll hear this from a lot of writers, they say they love to write themselves into corners and see how they can get themselves out, and it makes for great television. But I think they wrote themselves into a corner here that when they wrote themselves out of it, it did not do it for me. And that was the inclusion of all the different of Barry's family, of the people he's killed. I thought it was great that they brought that in, but the son and the mother, they just kind of left after that incident where they were going to shoot him, but then accidentally shot him. And then they just kind of that was so stupid. It was such an anticlimactic point that they could have done something with. And then this leads me into the episode that I least that was my least favorite, that everybody else fucking loved, because let's be honest, there was a really great
just
directed
casually
and
dropping
shot.
the best car chase in the past decade.
Exactly. It's exhilarating, and it's amazing car chase sequence. But where we start with the episode, where Fuchs gets fucking shot, I was like, okay, I'm down with this. He's fucking dead. Because where the fuck is his character going? He's already had, chance after chance. He's tried to get Barry. He's tried doing this, and then they just fucking shoot him. And I'm like, okay, he stuck his full-ass foot in his mouth, and that's what he gets because he fucking tangled with some people he shouldn't have that did not give a shit. I like that. I was like, they just fucking killed Fuchs. This is an amazing start to an episode. Like, what a banger intro. Then he wakes up. He goes through the same motions again of, I don't need to go after Barry, I'm fine, and then sees the newspaper. I forget what prompted him, but he sees something that just activates him again, and he's like, actually, never mind, fuck it. And that all happens within the span of under 5 minutes, and it just feels like they just they're accelerating his character arc in a loop, and they've got him stuck in a loop that is so old to me. They only done it twice this season, but it grew old on me so quick. And the fact that he left, I was like, bro, why couldn't you have just killed him? That has way more weight, and it starts off the episode way better. But then we get to the car chase, and it's just, these people are when he's talking to them, they seem really fucking mean, and they just shoot him with no problem. But then they pull up beside Barry at the start of the car chase, and they're like, is this him? And they're like, I think it's him. And it's just okay, I get that this is a comedy, it's half comedy, but the comedy's not working here. If you just showed if the filmmakers just showed us killing off them just point blank with no mercy, no ifs, ands, or buts, no fucks given, shoot Fuchs, a major character, in the fucking chest, presumably had killed him, what we were thinking. You just expect them to give that same energy to hunting Barry, but instead they sit there for about 10 seconds and be like, is this the guy? I think this is him. And it's so stupid to start, but the rest of the car chase was fucking insane and brilliant. I loved it. But just that thing there, I was like, you're not giving me the same energy that you gave me at the start of this episode. But then we naturally reach the end of the episode where she fucking poisons the...
die, motherfucker.
Die, motherfucker. I was like, okay. But you just ended the episode with such a good scene. It was a banger ending. But just everything in between, it just really did not meld with me. And then where Fuchs goes at the end of the season, he's handcuffed and going to prison. And I'm just like, dude, I mean, what are y'all doing with him now? What's he going to do in prison? What more does he have to do?
Well, he's going to run into Barry.
Well,
guess who else going to fucking jail?
True. It frustrates me. But what did you think?
Well, okay. Before I talk about this episode, I'll follow up on this Fuchs discussion. I agree, Fuchs is the weakest part of Barry for me, because consistently I am asking myself, why is this motherfucker so interested in ruining Barry's life? It's just self-detrimental to the point to which he wants to fuck with Barry. And I mean, it makes for great TV. It drives the plot forward. But the character of Fuchs himself, I just don't understand the motivations. I don't think he's all that compelling, because he did the same thing in season 2, down to the Kenneth Goulet shit, down to getting his Chechnyan army together and the Bolivian army, which, I mean, that was very short-lived in season 2. But, I mean, he goes through the same motions over and over again. And I really do think, that they need to do more with this character and spice him up. Now... This episode, though, was the reason why I'm like, okay, fine, keep Fuchs around if it means we get this TV. Because pretty much, other than the Fuchs element, I think that episode is a fucking masterpiece, because it's got... It really plays to Barry's strengths as a comedy. I love just like the bit character, the guy who owns the beignet shop, and they just keep coming back there, and he keeps expounding so much wisdom, and like he's accurate and fucking like so helpful in every situation. Like it doesn't matter, and then you find out that everyone's in line not for just the beignets, but because they all talk to him that way. Like I think if you're gonna revisit a joke multiple times, like that's the kind of payoff you should have. I also really fucked with the way Sally's storyline started to take some darker turns in this episode. And I made a tweet about this last night when we were watching it, but there's just a Saturday Night Live comedian that cameos in this episode that I love so much, Vanessa Bayer, and I just love that scene with her and the agent, and they're like, it was kind of like, yeah, but it needs to be more like, yeah, which I can't do it justice because it's all facial expressions, but...
Right. Yeah, that was a good... I love that.
Yeah, it's just filled with great comedic scenes like that. And to top that off, like, I don't know. I don't think that you can... Well, I think that you can take issue with the Fuchs storyline and, point to that as the weakness in the episode. But I feel like that's more of a season-wide problem. And in this episode, I feel like it's kind of isolated to the Fuchs in the 20 miles south of Los Angeles storyline that's going on. Because I feel like the biker stuff, for the most part, is really thrilling and exciting and funny. And I mean, yeah, sure, when they pull up to Barry, it's kind of like a Deus Ex Machina via joke. It's like, oh, why are we not shooting Barry first thing when we just shot Fuchs that way? But, and especially it seems hypocritical when the action scene starts and they don't seem to care who gets fucking killed by their gunfire. So it makes you wonder why they take so much time to confirm Barry's identity. I think it's a plot hole, but I think ultimately I don't fucking care.
Just for me, it was just like the tone, the tone got, it was like, how do I say? It was like shifted a little bit just so they could fit that joke in there, like of them taking so much time. And then, as the scene goes on, like you said, they don't fucking care. So it just really confused me.
I don't think it shifts the tone too much because there's still so much comedy in that chase. Like there's the guy with the machine gun and he's all like, hand off.
It fails so miserably. I loved that.
And he just holds on him. I love how I know that this might seem like a tangent, but I just love the cinematography in Barry because they hold on shots so long when you think they should probably leave. And it makes it so much funnier. And the fact that it's like a solid 40 seconds that you spend with that guy after he fucks up and like his buddy dies and he's just standing there. It's so fucking good. I think that's my issue is like, that's my issue with you saying it's the worst episode of the show is like, I feel like its merits very strongly outweigh those story weak parts. And I don't know. I think that that's just an issue with the character of Fuchs rather than it is with that episode. Because Bill Hader fucking killed it in directing that episode. Like, this makes me think that, eliminating guest directors and just having Bill Hader direct all the episodes of the show is not a bad idea.
I mean, I can agree. I'm definitely going to inevitably do a whole series rewatch soon. I may just rewatch season 3, but I want to rewatch that episode specifically because I want to just see if having seen the whole season and going back in, if I can maybe repair some of my ails with that episode specifically because it is kind of unfair of me to call it the worst episode when really it's like the first 10 minutes of the episode I'm not fucking with, and Fuchs' character being such a big part of that. I don't know, and I feel like wasn't the ending of the last... Well, never mind. I'm not even getting it. Whatever. Either way, I just the episode started off okay, and then the next scene after the intro when we see Fuchs is still alive, I'm just kind of like, okay, what the fuck? And it just kind of left a bad taste in my mouth for the rest of the episode.
I thought they did a good job holding. They waited a solid 10 minutes before they reveal Fuchs is alive. Like, you know, I think, they show the part of the guy dragging his body away, but they don't show him breathing or anything. But I mean, obviously at that point, like, oh, well, he's alive.
Yeah.
Because
another
character has dragged him off to save his life or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. That's really what I don't know. That just I guess it just bothered me so much that I just wasn't properly enjoying the rest of the episode, because I did think it was expertly directed, and the chase scene was fantastic. But in the ending especially, I was like, what the fuck? Like, where are we going from here? But the last two episodes, I have no problems with the last two episodes. The fucking finale. Can we just talk about the finale?
Yeah, for sure. Jump right in, man.
Yeah, dude. The way this ended, dude. Actually, I mean, the way it like starts out with I'll just say, like we said earlier, everybody deserves an Emmy. I think if we're making a case, this episode is what we should show. Be like, look, they deserve it, because the guy who plays NoHo Hank, I forget his
Anthony Kerrigan, I think. Anthony
Kerrigan, dude, that scene with him in the prison when the jaguars like killing the lion is killing his friends in the cell next to him, and he's just like reacting. Like in one of the behind the scenes, they were like saying that they had no audio of anything. It was just Anthony looking at the wall, and Barry was saying, okay, now he's doing this, now this is happening, now over here this is happening. And it just, his acting is so fucking good. And the rest of NoHo Hank's little storyline in the episode where it ends is just like devastating. And everybody's arc in this episode, where everything comes to a head, is so devastating, especially the ending when Barry's captured. Like he's caught, he gets caught. I swear I probably died for like 2 seconds. Like my heart just stopped when you hear the police like saying like put the gun down. I was like, no fucking way. No fucking way are they doing this on season 3. Like they've pretty much just completely changed the trajectory of this show with this finale.
That was fucking epic, with like Mr. Cousineau just standing there. Like it was all a performance. It was the greatest, and it fits with the character too. Like of course he's going to defeat Barry with the power of acting somehow,
And Barry told him at the beginning of the season, he was like, Cousineau, your acting is shit. And he defeats Barry by acting really well. And it's so good. It's such a good finale.
I want to make a case, because I feel like we've brushed over her in our discussions, because the character of Sally can be frustrating sometimes, I think. But like Sarah Goldberg in this episode specifically, she like oh my god, it's amazing. Like she's doing what Bill Hader does, where his like face, like every muscle just kind of like changes all of a sudden. Like she does that in this episode. It's fucking insane. In the killing, and the part where Barry's telling her like, say Barry did this, like her, oh my god, you're just getting so much from her face, and it's incredible.
Yeah, that shot in particular.
Where he's cupping her head.
Yeah. Yes. Oh my God, she's phenomenal. She's been phenomenal the entire series, but this season you've really just watched her like literally start from like the top of the world, where she's literally having to leave the state and go back to Joplin, which I thought was fucking amazing. That you saw where the airplane was headed. It was like Joplin, Missouri. And I was like, holy shit. This is good. Like I was a little confused by her character at the start of the season, I'm not going to lie, but by a couple episodes in, I was like, okay, I think I know where this is going. And then just by that finale, just God, bro. I'm most excited I'm most excited to see what the fuck happens to Barry, but honestly, secondly, I really want to know what she does. Like how does she react to everything that fucking happened? And yeah, it's really good. She's really good.
Because I'm surprised to say it, but like Sally and Cousineau's storylines are pretty much the only thing tying us to acting or like the industry anymore. But I think they're doing it so well. Like the way that they talk about cancel culture, and the way they talk about like getting shows off the ground. Like I think it's so biting and sharp. Like especially the episode where she ends up talking to the people running Banshee, about why they canceled her show, and just her spiral from that point. It's just so fucking gripping. And I'm glad that Darcy Carden. Which, have you seen The Good Place?
I've seen bits and pieces of it.
She's on that show. She plays Natalie in this show.
Gotcha.
Who's like her friend who she fucking screws over all the time.
Yeah.
I love especially that joke where Barry's not getting in the limo and Natalie walks with her to the limo. And it's like, okay, and Sally's like, see you there, and just closes the door and rides in the limo by herself.
Oh my god, that's fucking hilarious.
Like, they definitely set up all of the elements to Sally's like major meltdown in the elevator that you need, and she's always had a bit of an air of superiority about her, even since season 1, over her like classmates. That this makes sense for her character. Like, I think everybody but Fuchs, I fucks with where their story has gone, and I get why they got here. It's really only Fuchs at this point, which I think season 4 can rectify that. I think you can do some things with that. With this season, in terms of new players, I'm loving the guy playing Detective Moss's dad. That guy is intense in all of the right ways. I don't know his name, which I felt like I should have, because when he's first revealed, it's like, a back of the head shot, like he's like fucking Marsalis Wallace, and then he turns around and I'm like, should I know him? I don't know.
Right.
But I want to know him now. He's great.
Yeah.
He's killing it.
Yeah. He looks familiar. I'm looking up who he is right now for you because I'm interested.
Same with Albert. His actor, I mean, technically he debuted in season 2, but it really feels like his character is a player I want to see more from, and I'm glad that they kept him alive at the end of the season, because there's so many great stars that come on to Barry and are just like gone in a couple episodes. Can I just say, one of the big MVPs of this season for me was the guy playing Ryan Madison's dad. Like, his monologue in the 7th episode was incredible, and just the pain and hurt on his face, like, oh my god, it's just so real and sad.
Yes.
And I just fucked with it so hard. What's Jim Moss's actor's name? Did you find?
I'm still looking.
Damn. I'll aid in your search.
Okay.
We need to be given credit to all of these actors. That's why I made sure I got Sally's right, Sarah Goldberg, because she is phenomenal. And the crazy thing about Barry is that a lot of people on the show, like, it feels like this show is the only thing I know them from, but I love them unconditionally. Like, Sarah Goldberg is definitely that way. Anthony Carrigan, honestly, I haven't ever seen anything else he's been in, but his performance as NoHo Hank is so good, it makes me want to watch Gotham, because I know he's Mr. Freeze on that show.
Yes.
That sounds interesting.
Right. Very. Janet, the Moss, Detective Moss, it's Robert Wisdom.
Robert Wisdom. Okay, I have not heard his name before, but I hope we hear it at the Emmys.
Right. He was a voice in like Osmosis Jones, Barbershop 2, weird little stuff. He was in The Dark Knight Rises as a Army Captain Parker. I don't know, just some weird stuff. He was in Motherless Brooklyn, which was
was that the Edward Norton movie?
Yeah, it was Edward Norton's little self-congratulatory show.
Yeah, well, and I mean, he changed the setting of the original novel, I think, just to make it like into a 1940s movie. Like, the original Motherless Brooklyn, that novel takes place in the 90s, and Edward Norton was just like, fuck that, it's a 40s film now. Or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think in closing our discussion about Barry, I really fucked with this season, and especially with Barry going to jail, I am like, what can we do with this show? I'm sure they have a
Yeah.
plan. It's just like I cannot guess. I cannot fathom how they're gonna write out of this. You know?
Yeah,
Maybe a
I can't
Prison
either.
Break? Maybe I don't know. I don't know.
Possibly. I mean, at this point, it's going to become a different show.
Which I fucks with. I have faith in them
Yeah.
to guide us through that. And I wonder how long this show will continue to be about Barry. You know, it feels like
Yeah.
at any given point, Barry could be a show about fucking NoHo Hank instead, or
Yeah.
about Sarah, or any of its characters. And I think that's why people come back to this show every time a new season comes out, is just these characters are some of the best on television, and the writing and
Yeah.
the direction on the show is incredible.
Phenomenal.
Yeah. And I think that this is one of the ultimate I think that this is maybe the best bit of evidence that dramas don't have to be like an hour long. Like, you can do a lot
Mm-hmm.
with dramatic stakes in 20 minutes, it turns out, or 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Most of the time with Barry, but sometimes they really do
Right.
hit that like 24-minute point, and they're like, okay, we're done. And it's
Yeah.
brilliant. It's like, okay, yeah, we did everything we needed to. Fuck yeah.
Certainly. Yeah. Yeah. The episodes are I mean, even though they're, 20 minutes to 30 minutes, it still feels like, it's like, God, that was like 10 minutes. You know, it flies by because it's really good television. And I really enjoy the fact that it is this way. But I would be remiss if I didn't mention that I swear if we don't get like a 1 hour series finale, I'll freak out. But these 20-minute episodes, 20 to 28, they're really doing it for me. I really like it.
Well, hopefully, in Barry season 4, volume 1, like, all the episodes are going to be an hour and 20 minutes. Like, we're hoping they are.
Honestly, if they are, I'm not gonna care. I just want to watch this show so bad.
Yeah, call back to earlier in the episode, but I mean, Stranger Things has given me a lot of faith, in shows going feature length for every episode. So I wouldn't mind.
Yeah, me neither, man. Before we wrap up, give me 1 second. I'll be right back.
Okay, come right back. Okay.
I will.
I'm just sitting here alone. I miss my lover and my friend. His name is Casey, and I wish him the best to the end. To the end. I hope Casey comes back at some point. I hope he bonds with me, talks about movies and whatnot. I hope that he is good, but that he is not bad. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Are those like aliens fighting over my house? Oh my god, the mothership just took out that fighter. Oh my fucking god. Is that E.T.? His people are at war, and they need they need us to help them out? Oh my god. Where are you taking me, E.T.? To your planet? What do you mean we're gonna need backup? Oh my gosh. Okay, I'll get in the spaceship. E.T., I know we're traveling at light speed now, but I'm gonna need to know what the fuck is going on. Oh, that's interesting. Your home planet is in a civil war? Okay. Yeah, I agree. We're gonna need some backup. Really? You think he'll be helpful? Okay. Well, if you say so.
Back.
Okay. Whew. Sorry, it was just creating a little storyline there. Don't you worry about it. Don't you worry about that.
Okay, I won't worry about that.
Okay. Anyway, welcome back.
Well, thank you.
So before we wrap, what else is there, my guy?
Man, honestly, I hope that everybody enjoys our videos. We're gonna do more of those.
Yeah.
Watch First Shots. Watch Barry. Watch Stranger Things. Watch The Boys. Watch Chinatown. Fallen Angels. Um, Watch everything we mentioned. Man, it's
Yeah.
all good. We only talk about the good shit on here. Or we only tell you to watch the good shit on here. but yeah, I really just wanted to say, like, I haven't been logging on Letterboxd because I just have not been watching movies. I've been watching all the TV that's out because I found that I'm really enjoying it. And even though Kenobi isn't, the favorite thing that's out right now, far from it, I'm still interested in it, at least to see where it goes. So,
Yeah.
yeah, dude, just like, a lot of TV. And I'm just I'm glad we got to talk about it. It was eating me up inside, bro. I've had nobody to talk to.
I'm so glad that we've done another episode because I've definitely felt your absence this past month and a half. I've been like, fuck, I'm watching so many things that literally no one in my life like cares about. Like I found myself like talking to my dad about like Wong Kar-wai, and I was like, why am I doing this? Clearly I need an outlet or something. Like this podcast, if nothing else, is just our chance to fucking nerd out about a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
And I love it for that.
Same. I hope everybody else does too.
Yeah, and I hope that they add more TV shows to Letterboxd soon because like it is really annoying that like you will watch like something really good and then there's like no place to like put your like.
Yeah.
A lot of shows are just absent from Letterboxd, which is crazy because, television is essentially becoming on the same level as Hollywood. Like, these TV shows are getting huge budgets. Like, Kenobi and Stranger Things alone, they cost like $30 million or $25 million an episode each, I think, which is insane. And it's good shit. Like, it's good special effects. Even Barry, by the way, felt like a movie half the time, and all of its visual effects amazing. Kind of same with The Boys. The Boys shows some cracks for me, but I enjoy it so much that I don't care when an effect looks shoddy. It's just like it's so bombastic that it's like, this guy's going in this butthole, so I guess it wouldn't look like that.
Yeah, exactly. I kind of watch The Boys for like the story and like the fun shenanigans. Like I don't really care if it looks like absolutely grade A like Barry or even some of the Stranger Things stuff looks like. I'm just watching it because it's a good fucking show. Like, but,
oh my god! Speaking of good fucking shows, are you fucking with Better Call Saul? Are you have you started that yet?
I haven't watched any Better Call Saul because I was trying to finish my rewatch of Breaking Bad first, and I'm so close to finishing that, but. I'm definitely going to get on it.
I've bugged you a couple times about that, but like just rewatched the first season because the final season is on like a mid-season finale, which was mind-blowing, and I won't talk about it at all. But it's just so good. It's so different from Breaking Bad for sure. But like that show is just like they really fuck around with their capabilities as visual storytelling. Like if you are on your phone when you're watching Better Call Saul, you are gonna miss like all of the best parts of the show. And that's something that I'm realizing as I'm rewatching it is like, oh fuck, when I was a teenager and this show first came on the air, like I did not give it its due time. I was definitely waiting for like Breaking Bad cameos or for action sequences, and it's not that, but what it is really special. And so I mean, when you do finish your Breaking Bad rewatch, I highly recommend fucking with Better Call Saul because it is maybe just the best prequel ever made. Dead ass.
Yeah, everybody. It's not just you. Everybody's been bugging me about it, telling me I need to get on it. It's it's up there with like some of the best television on in the past few years. So I'm definitely gonna watch it. I'm trying to. Gonna finish Kenobi tonight, obviously tonight or tomorrow. Then I'm going to while I'm waiting on Stranger Things. I think I'll be caught up on TV until then. And I do want to watch Miss Marvel though. I do want to give that a shot.
Yeah,
but,
I think I will too.
Yeah, but the TV I really need to catch up with is I need to finish Ozark because I was really, really fucking with Ozark. I thought it was phenomenal, and I was going into season 3, and I don't know what the fuck stopped me, because like I binged the first 2 seasons in like a week, and I was like this is great television, like, and then I just didn't watch season 3 for some fucking reason, and then now the show has fully wrapped and I haven't watched it, so it's killing me to know. So I'm definitely going to try and do that as soon as I can, and then finish Breaking Bad and get on some Better Call Saul stuff. So
is it just me, or is no one fucking talking about Ozark's ending? Like, I heard one thing, like someone said it was bad, but that was it. Like, that's all I've heard. Like, it quietly dropped. And I feel like no one's hype about it.
Yeah, and because and I saw on well, same thing with Stranger Things. Like, season 4 hasn't completely disappeared into the wind, you know, because it's really fucking good and people are actually fully fucking invested and interested this time. But Netflix keeps dropping their shows, all episodes at once, and people talk about it for 2 days, maybe not even 2 days, and then it's over. And that's what happened with Ozark, because Ozark is genuinely a great show. But if they would drop it 1 episode at a time, weekly, it would have gotten that, that, oh shit, everybody's watching this. Because no, it's not going to draw in audiences like Stranger Things is, or, anything else is, but it's a really good drama, and it's not targeted for everybody, but it is still good. It is up there with some of the best shows that I've watched, and I love it. And it's got phenomenal acting in it. It deserves Emmys. Hell, it's probably had Emmys, but nobody's ever fucking heard of it, or nobody fucking watches it, because Netflix does zero promotion for it and drops entire seasons in same day, and then the fans will watch it. But that's it. That's really what frustrates me about it. And I feel like Stranger Things 4 would be even a bigger deal, because those episodes end on huge cliffhangers, but there's no, it's like, okay, I'll just click next episode and watch the next fucking episode, because it all dropped at once. There's not that period that Barry had, or Peacemaker, or any show that drops on like HBO Max has, where it's like, oh fuck, that was a great episode. Like, what happens next? I gotta wait till next week. I guess I'll tweet about how excited I am. That doesn't happen with like Ozark and stuff. So but it's still a good show, and I highly recommend it.
They need to leave binge culture behind for sure, and just get with the time. Yeah, like it's over with. I think this is part of the reason why Netflix is dying out, is that their shows just don't have sustainability. They're canceling all of their shows too, like after fucking 1 season, and especially it sucks to see so many good animation projects that Netflix has made get the axe so quickly. Like Tuca and Birdie got axed after 1 season. Luckily, Adult Swim saved that show. Midnight Gospel, which I feel like is just a universally loved show, unofficially getting canceled. That's just a slap in the face. Like, that just fucking sucks. And honestly, I'll go back and say it again. Cowboy Bebop only having 1 week on the platform before getting axed is just unforgivable. Like, that's some bullshit right there.
Honestly, like, I'm not a...
Sorry. I think there is a little delay. Might be...
Oh, you're good. You're good. I was just going to say, like, even though I'm not a huge fan of Cowboy Bebop, I still think it was fucking stupid that the show came out, and then what was essentially the next day, it was like, it's canceled. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, it could not have been that bad, because I heard Isaac and a few other people say, like, actually, it's not bad. So it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I guess it just didn't hit the right taste clusters. Or
yeah, true. It's more when we're looking for
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Casey, this podcast sure has been and it made me go,
Yeah. I kind of agree. I'm feeling that,
Well, I hope that when you're editing, you find out what that little secret storyline surprise that I left for you is.
Yeah.
But, you don't have to...
I'm interested.
You don't have to include it. But you could just have me sound schizophrenic, which would also be good. We'll find out which way you went with that.
Yeah. The audience will know by the end of the episode.
Hell yeah.
I have no idea what it is. I'm interested to find out. But
hopefully we do the next episode sooner, and I'll see you, buddy.
Oh yeah, we'll definitely do it way sooner. I will see you later. You have a good day.
You too, friend. Farewell.
Farewell.